2014, you're standing in this exact spot, and you had your critics when you came on board as a member of the Greyhounds at age 25, and I know 4 years ago they were there. Is age merely a number, Kyle, when you look back on all of this?
I don't know. I'm kind of immune to it now, Paul. It's been every single step of the way I've had to answer the same thing, and I guess this is the last time I'll cross that threshold, I think, and have to answer for it. I've been really, really fortunate throughout my whole life I've been working in hockey every day since I've been 11 years old, and I owe the Sioux Greyhounds for that. And so I feel like this is all that I've done and all that I know. I try to learn about a lot of other things, but this has been my life since I've been very, very young. And I hear the questions, but you hear them for a decade or more, and you just kind of tune it out. It just becomes par for the course.
What was the moment like when you heard from Brendan and he broke the news to you, and what was the first thing that went through your head?
It was a process to go through in terms of meeting, and then obviously working out terms and such. So it's exciting. I think you work towards something, and you want to get there. You want to get there when the time is right. So you have that portion of it. I think it really hit home last night. I started to be able to tell my family, and this morning some very close friends, and you realize how meaningful it is to them. When you work, I mean, it's same with all of you. You go, your family comes with you on the journey. You're away from home. You have long days like today would be for everybody here. So your family goes along the journey with you, and so when you call and tell them, and they've been along the ride the whole time, and you see how meaningful it is to them and others, I think that's when you really begin to appreciate it for sure.
What does it mean to you to be the GM of this team?
I think it's in sports. I think I always used to think that it'd just be great to be I thought it'd be great to be an OHL general manager, and I got the chance to do it in the Sioux, which is my hometown and the team that I grew up working for. And so at that point there, I began, I think, to appreciate the history of different clubs and the history of franchises and programs, and thus, I think today it's given me, because of going through that, it's given me a great appreciation for the history of this club and how meaningful it would be for this club to reach the potential that we want to get it to. And so it is very meaningful. The community has been unbelievable, and the support and the organization here. So I understand the degree to which the expectations rise, and I'm very excited about it.
The toughest part of the journey is kind of still ahead.
Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest challenge kind of moving forward here in the next few months?
I think it's the same things that every sports program or franchise goes through, which is you start from, you build it up to the point where it is now, and that's difficult. But then you see at this stage of the season of the playoffs, you have some teams that have been trying to go at this and cross this threshold for many years, and they're great organizations, and they punch it through. I realize I'm saying that with Vegas in the conference final, but it's they've done a great job as well, and it is very, very difficult, especially in our division. We know we have Tampa, Boston, we have Florida that charge right up behind, and then we have a group of teams right there that are very well-run organizations, and one of which was almost in the Stanley Cup final last year. The other two with great management groups that are on their way. So it's not going to be easy in this division. They're all very passionate markets for their team, and so we need to continue to push ahead, stay ahead of those teams, while also trying to close the gap with the two teams ahead of us.
When people talk about you, they often say you're an analytics guy, you're an outside-the-box thinker. Does that just come from being a young guy in hockey, or do you see yourself? How do you see yourself?
I don't know. I think a long time ago, Sean, I gave up on trying to fight whatever people were going to say or think about me, and so when you do that, people will fill in the blanks with what they think you are. The reality is I've worked in hockey since I was 11. I've been scouting since I was 17, and I realized that very quickly, especially when I was in Sault Ste. Marie, our resources were not plentiful. We had great support from our ownership, but I'm saying that relative to the other teams in the league, we had to find other ways to best identify players so we couldn't match resources with teams, and using data to help build our decision-making models and our decision-making systems, I thought could be a major benefit to that. So we incorporated it in, and then it took on a life of its own, which I've really tried to stop fighting. I think the data part of it has been a major benefit, and you see now basically every NHL team uses it, and so if that's the way people want to paint me, that's fine. But I mean, I think I know the reality of it, and that's good enough for me.
Kyle, it promises to be a pretty busy summer.
Sure.
Is there a first domino that needs to fall aside from your domino today?
Sure. I think the first domino, I think it would be foolish to say that the major priority right now isn't just gathering our whole staff in the coming weeks here. We have some great opportunities to do that. We have the scouting combine coming up in Buffalo at the end of the month. We also have the Marley still in the playoffs, which will bring a lot of people closer together and just kind of go through where everybody is at. Acknowledge what we need to accomplish in the summer, which I think everybody here well knows, and then proceed accordingly with sound decision making and strategy moving into the summer to best tackle those issues and press ahead. But I think step one is bringing everybody in to get everybody's ideas, and then building a set strategy moving ahead, and that's what we'll be looking to accomplish in the short term.
It's possible you could be dealing with general managers that have been in this business longer
Sure.
than you've been alive. How do you, have you put thought into that? I mean, dealing with some of those old school guys, what's that?
I had great experience on this when I first started in the OHL. Sherry Basson was a rival GM in Erie, and dealing with him, I don't look at it as any different than I was 25 then and came in and was dealing with people who were legends in the Ontario Hockey League. And then between when Dave Nonis was here and when Lou was here, I had those interactions with general managers in this league and have continued to build those relationships. So it's something that I've been through before, and I know everyone will look into and look to be studying, but I've tackled those issues before, and I look forward to it again.
Can you go into more detail about what it was like with Sherry Basson?
I think it's very clear when you first walk into it. They phrase it like they're trying to be your friend, but they're really trying to just get close enough to steal your wallet.
That's great. What about some of the rules? I mean, I know you touched on this in the press conference, but Lou didn't allow facial hair.
Sure.
He didn't let the broadcast teams go on the plane with the team. Will those rules change now?
There's no way the broadcasters are going on the plane. That's step one. But I think that's an analysis for Mike and myself to sit down and go through. I really respect a lot of the stuff that Lou put in terms of structure and what the expectations were for the players, but Mike and I will sit and go through that and then build sound decisions, and maybe with consultation with some of the veteran players and their impressions of it as well, and then we'll roll from there.
Kyle, did Grandma Dubas have any advice for you when she found out about this?
Unfortunately, yeah, she's. I spoke to her last night, and she's. Her focus is on tonight's Game 5 in Sault Ste. Marie, rightfully so, but she's very excited. I mean, her and my grandfather, Walter, who passed away when I was still in the Sioux, they've been just a massive support for me, always there. My whole family, really, but I know Grandma Doobie's Twitter profile gets a lot of attention because she's unrelenting on the officials, and she's very, very excited, and it was great to be able to call her last night and tell her. As I said previously, your whole family, they go on this journey with you, and they've been a huge support to you on the way, so that was great. Yeah.
What did you learn? Have you learned about Coach Babcock that you didn't know before you started working with him?
There's well, I think you hear a lot about Mike before you ever come into contact with him, and what you see when you work with him every day is there's no off switch. It's when he wakes up at 5 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, he's on the whole day. His passion for hockey is unrelenting, and his passion to try to make the Maple Leafs into the best franchise they can be is unrelenting, and that's what excites me most. I think I call it. I know I call it a sickness. Like, you have it for hockey, and it takes over every part of your day, and you're passionate about it. It goes all hours from when you wake to when you sleep, and Mike certainly has that. But the other thing I've seen with Mike is his ability to know where that stops, and his inclusion of the coaches' families, his relationship with his own family, and you see that. And it was the same with Lou, even though Lou doesn't, it's not as public with him, just in the treatment of people and knowing when it's time to step off the gas with hockey and build that proper structure into people's lives and balance. So that's been the great part so far about working with Mike, and excited to roll along here, starting the minute that I leave here.
I don't know how much you watch when it comes to analysts that analyze the game and analyze this team, but a lot of the talk is that this team needs defense. This team needs to improve its defense. How do you feel about that?
I think I like our defense and where it's at. I think we have some very good defensemen on their way and coming. I think the coaching staff here with DJ Smith and Mike have done an excellent job in developing the current defensemen that we have, finding increased roles for others that have come into the organization. And I think for me, when I watch the Marlies play, there's a good collection of young defensemen there as well. So I think you want to make the team better any way that you can. And I think each of the last 2 years, last year, there have been teams that have won and gone a long way with the same questions about their teams. And so for us, it's analyzing what we have and continuing. If we can improve, or we can make a marked improvement to our roster, we'll do so. But I also am very excited about the defensemen that we have coming.
For you guys in Nylander, Marner, Matthews, who are all eventually going to have to do contracts, and
Sure.
where do you put that on the importance list of things that'll shape the future of this team?
Yeah, I think of course they're very important players. They're very good young players for us. So we'll depart from here, and myself and Brandon Pridham will convene and have some discussions about the attack that we want to take with that, and then we'll build a sound strategy and then be in touch with their people and see where they're at as well. So we'll handle that here as soon as we're eligible to do so, and start to have those discussions internally and be prepared for it.
What growth have you seen in Nylander's game over the last season?
Nylander, well, it's tough to just narrow it down. I've known William now. He started here a few weeks before I did when he was drafted in Philadelphia, and so I've been with William really the whole way through, and so I've seen great growth from him. I think the one thing about William, he's very quiet and just goes about his business. Is a great worker off the ice. Never have to question where he's at, and I think you've seen his performance over the last 2 seasons. He continues to improve on the ice. He's shown some good versatility, and he's obviously got a great chemistry with Austin. That's been great to watch, and I think we're only just scratching the surface with William. Excited to see him continue to grow here as a Maple Leaf.
Mentioned some of the defense prospects. What have you seen from Timothy Logan in his first season in North America?
Timothy was in a very difficult situation for a young 18-year-old player coming over. So he's playing in the American League. He's played every playoff game. He's played more and more as the playoffs have gone on. It's a very difficult challenge when you're 18 years old to play in the American Hockey League. We could have put him in Major Junior, and he'd probably look great, had a ton of points. The major thing I've been impressed with Timothy about has been his off-ice preparation, his commitment to reaching his potential. Goes about it in a quiet way, doesn't draw a lot of attention to himself, just comes in very focused, concentrated, and works extremely hard. So I'm very excited about his prospects as we move ahead. We need to continue to be patient with him. We were patient with him during the year, trying to put him in bad spots, and I'm excited about his potential for sure.
What have you learned about the relationship between coach and general manager when it comes to acquiring players that maybe you like versus
Sure.
what the coach wants in, and balancing that?
I can't say enough about what I've learned from Lou in terms of building that relationship, building that with the coach. I've watched Lou's interaction with Mike. I've watched Mike's interaction back with him. It's been a constant dialogue, and I can only speak to my, in this same role that it's been with Sheldon for the last 6 years. It's a constant back and forth of trying to sculpt the team into the best it can possibly be. So I think you need to be on the same page when it comes to player acquisition, the types of players that you're looking for, and I'm excited to get to work with Mike on that.